How you doing, everybody? Welcome to my channel. This is the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 10. Guess who's coming to Blue Ridge review? I almost didn't do this review because I'm extremely fatigued and I'm extremely tired and I'm extremely sleepy and I'm burning up in parts of my body that I should not be burning up in. So I don't know if I'll be able to get through Married to Medicine today. I may do it sometime during the week and hope to God that you guys still have the time to go ahead and watch the juice. But for now, I'm going to do this one and I'm going to rest up, okay? So we already know that Marlo's guilty. She's 1000% guilty as to how she's been behaving, what she did to her nephew. It's just been like a pattern of consistency in how she has acted in selfishness. And I'll explain as I keep going. But this entire episode kind of proves my assumption about her character in its entirety. So it starts off with Kenya and Kandi meeting up with their daughters, Brooklyn and Blaze. Blaze looks nothing like Kandi. I don't see it. Blaze doesn't look anything like Todd. I don't see it. Is there like a relative, an aunt, uncle that she looks like? I don't see Kandi in her. Whereas Riley looks exactly like Kandi. Lord, thank God, because the father's, you know, he's just one of those ancient people. So it's good that she took after her mama. But as far as Blaze goes, I don't know who Blaze looks like. Blaze doesn't even look like the son. I don't know who she looks like, but she's a cute baby, adorable. Very active, very playful, and she's probably going through her terrible twos and whatnot based on how Kandi described her. But it's nice to see that Kenya, who really wanted to be a mom, and Kandi are now having their daughters play together, even though Kandi also has an older daughter and a stepdaughter. So it was nice to kind of see their interaction in this, I guess, atmosphere, because they're hanging out and Kenya's talking about her business to Kandi, who owns multiple businesses, and letting her know about her supplier issue that she's having and how she needs a team and how she's gotten offered $5,000 to CVS to really expand on her hair products and all the things that she does. And that is kudos to Kenya, because Kenya knows how to do some business, child. She can build and get her money, girl. She is black excellence. Hey, y'all, to get a taste of this delicious meal, go ahead and check out my OnlyFans page for recipes in the description box below. You find the link. Yes. Then we have Kandi bringing up the topic of Marlo. Now, Kandi brought up the topic of Marlo several times during this episode, because you can tell that even though Marlo was playing I'm just going through a lot and I just needed a 30-day break and all this other stuff, trying to gain sympathy, which I don't feel sorry for her at all. I'm so sorry. I just don't. You knew that your sister had a mental health issue. You knew that she had 2 minor children to take care of and that they are blood related to you because they are your nephews. You opted for that responsibilities. These are children who happen to already be in a difficult situation. Their mother is in a mental institution, or at least they're trying to get her into one. We don't know where their father is. We haven't heard anything from him. So you took on that charge. You paraded yourself on TV saying you're a Monty, you're this and the third. You were so happy to do whatever you want for them. And then you introduced this to your foster care nonprofit that you have, where you're doing something nice for other kids, but those kids you only see when you're taking them out to dinner and showing money in their face. But when it's your nephews living with you 24/7, where you have to exercise patience to put your own personal feelings aside and understand what those boys are going through, because they're just kids. They probably don't even know why they're acting out. You understand what I'm saying? You're the adult and you made a decision that was you made a decision to take them to be your responsibility. After they had already lost their mother, you're gonna sit up there and kick them out and tell them that you don't want them, so now they gotta lose you too? Because what? They dirtied the house, they didn't do their laundry, they're shoving shit under the bed. I have not met a teenager, male or female, that you're gonna sit there and be, baby, go clean your room, and then expect them that they're gonna do it correct. It's like asking them, did you do your homework? Of course they're gonna say, yes, of course I did my homework, so they can go play their PS5 or whatever. You have to be, as the Monty or the parent, you have to follow through. If I tell you to go clean your room, I'm gonna give you 30 minutes. And in 30 minutes, if I ask you to clean your room, you told me yes, I'm gonna go up there, I'm gonna look under the bed, I'm gonna look in the closet, I'm gonna be opening up these dressers, I'm gonna see what you shoved in there that you think you're gonna get away with, and I'm gonna make you go back and fix it. That is how a parent handles things, and that is how she's supposed to handle things. Instead, she gave them instructions, they didn't do it, like their age bracket dictates, and then she comes back in and blew up because her perfect little house and her perfect little money that she has is now filthy. Child, bye. Okay, just hire a cleaner or put them boys on, just ground them. Like, do other things other than make those people feel like they're not wanted. So Marlo is going on this little rant, trying to get as much sympathy as she can because she's so stressed and she needs some time off and she needs this. I was like, thank God those ain't your real kids. But Lord, us parents know that when your kids are annoying, when your kids are out of your, when they get on your nerves, you cannot just tell those kids get out and tell somebody you keep them. I need 30 days break. You can't do that. You just deal with it as the parent is supposed to deal with it. That is why I feel like Marlo has never found herself in a marriage, has never found herself being a parent, because there's some aspects of her that I don't think is meant to handle that type of hardship. She just may not just be built for it. Then we have Kandi mentioning that whole ordeal to Kenya, which she said 30 days, but Kandi has since got on her speak on it and said that Kenya didn't say that Marlo didn't say 30 days. She kicked them out permanently. But she's over here on TV telling us, oh, it's just 30 days. Girl, stop lying. And you over here calling Kenya a liar the whole time, and you lying to us. Then Kenya listened to this and realized, and they discussed how Marlo's actions are re-traumatizing the boys. And Kenya was like, I don't even want to hear this, because of course she has a daughter. So hearing this, it's got to be something that hurts her feelings, that hurts her heart, for somebody who wanted a kid so bad. So she's not trying to listen to Marlo's, crap. So they go have fun. We get to Kandi's house. Kandi's getting ready for the girls' trip. And then she gives a call to Marlo to let Marlo know that Kenya has decided that she doesn't want to come on the trip because of how Marlo has been treating her and how Marlo has been targeting her, because Marlo is miserable. And because she doesn't want the entire camera to focus on her behavioral patterns, she's using Kenya as her storyline and making Kenya out, trying desperately to make Kenya seem like the enemy, but we, the viewers, are not buying it. And that's the problem. So she'll get it a mouthful during the reunion. I can't wait for that one. But Marlo acts like she don't care that Kenya is coming when you know she cares, because the amount of pressness that she has for Kenya, she always got Kenya in her mouth. Kenya this, Kenya that, Kenya this, Kenya that, Kenya did this to me, Kenya this, that. She's pressed. She knows she wants Kenya to be there to validate her, because that's who she's comparing herself to. Then we have, we get to Marlo's house, and this was kind of like an eye-opening scene for me, because Marlo's sister Crystal comes to visit. And Marlo's sister doesn't look as lavish as Marlo presents herself. Marlo's sister looks like she's kind of like a homebody, well-bred, mature. She's like a mom. She has 4 kids of her own, and she doesn't parade herself talking about money this and rich this. She looks like somebody who comes from humbleness, right? Unlike Marlo. So, and Marlo had her on camera, and Marlo's asking her sister, do you think I did something wrong? The sister's like, there are certain things you just don't let kids hear. You were telling them you were tired of them. You were telling them that you don't want them. You basically telling them that you don't have to take care of them, as if you're doing them a favor, when it was your choice to do what you did. I've been in this situation before with my stepmom. Now, don't get me wrong. I have since addressed it with her straight to her face and let her know that this is how she treated me as a kid, because we had a huge blowout, and she fixed her mouth and had the nerve to call my other sister and tell her that I did something to her as a child. My story is a bit unique. I immigrated at 8 years old, but it wasn't my choice. My parents separated without me knowing that they separated. My father in a different country. I told y'all I'm Nigerian. My mother, being that she didn't have a visa, didn't have a passport, couldn't come to the country. I was already born a U.S. citizen. So my father was able to bring us here without my mother, I guess, knowledge or whatever the case is. None of us didn't know what was going on. I was just a kid. And he took me here. And then within a matter of hours, I found out that not only was he remarried, but I had a younger sister who's almost 1 year old. And in my mind, I've always felt like it was strategic, because Africans, if you guys don't know, Nigerian children or African children, because of the environment that we're placed in, a lot of times we mature quickly. Our culture has something called house helps. And house helps are kids, basically from as young as 6 years old, that rich families would hire. That child will be in the house at 6, 7, 8 years old, washing dishes, doing laundry, cleaning the house, in exchange for the wealthy family to pay her school fees, feed her, provide a roof over her head, take care of her. The idea is for her not to be mistreated, to become part of the family in time, but it's because where she comes from, that little girl, the family is too poor to provide for her or him. So we had a house help, and we had a house help taking care of us. Whereas when we got to the age where our house helps are being taken, my father brought us to the United States for us to be basically babysitters, cooks, everything and under the sun to my stepmom's children, to make us not feel like, make sure she understands she felt like we weren't a burden. So whenever she complained, we got a new responsibility. I was driving illegally at an age I shouldn't have been driving. I was cooking 3 meals at an age I shouldn't be cooking. I was 12 years old making meals. I was helping my little sister with her homework. I had to do my own homework. Plus, I was an athlete at school. Then come back, help them with their hair, wash them when my parents went on dates. It was like wash the car, mowed the lawn. did the laundry, ironed my parents' clothes, make sure they had it for work. My stepmom didn't do anything except go to work and come home. All the chores and everything in that house were handled by myself and my sister, right? And even through all of that, I still maintained an A average in school. I was still an athlete. I was in junior ROTC. I lashed out a lot of times because I noticed that there were things that my stepmom was saying yes to my younger siblings that were her biological children, and we were saying no to. We'd ask for something as simple as, can we buy our school picture? Maybe to send to our mom back home. She says no, she doesn't have the money, and my father put that responsibility on her. Then, next thing you know, we'd watch her buy pictures for her own biological children, and it got to the point to where we got so discouraged that we just stopped asking for stuff. I didn't go to any of my school dances until my senior year, and even then when I was going to prom, I was being threatened on my way there. I had to leave prom at 9 p.m. sharp. I didn't get to go out with my friends. I didn't get to go prom shopping. I did my own hair, did my own makeup, didn't get to go in the limo with my friends. I was just like, everything was regimented. And we didn't get a cell phone until we were high schoolers on our way to college, whereas my younger sisters got their phones around 10 because, of course, it was safety reasons. We had to take public school buses. They got their perfect little ride home. We got yelled at for being 10 minutes late to pick them up. Meanwhile, we had to wait in school sometimes for hours for our parents to come pick us up. There was a strict, different dynamic in the way we were raised. It made me strong. It made me a go-getter. It made me, I can do anything. I can do anything, literally, without anybody needing help. I'm a very strong woman, yes. But I grew up hearing her saying, I can't stand you. What's wrong with you? I can't wait till you get out of here. If your mom was here, she'll bash your head into a wall. Meaning, even though she never met my mom. And she was saying these things to me at 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old. So it made sense for me to lash out the way that I did. It's lucky I didn't get pregnant or end up in jail or go out, because at some point I just started sneaking out the house since I couldn't even go anywhere. So all the privileges that her children experienced, we were denied. So the difference and point that I'm trying to make is there was an attitude that she had as if we should be grateful for her being in our lives. She assumed that we were some poor African kids that our mom abused. She didn't make it the correlation in her head that my father is considering my mom to be his ex. He's not going to say nice things about her. Why would he tell you, his current wife, nice things about the woman that he just left and took her children? So she took it upon herself to say some of the most detrimental things to me and my siblings, to the point where I started literally like, which face am I seeing? Yeah, she went to work, and yeah, she also paid for a roof, and yes, she provided health insurance, but that does not excuse the behavior that you exhibited when we were minor children. At the end of the day, I didn't know about you. I didn't ask to be in your life. I was the child. You married my father knowing that he had children, knowing that he wanted you to help take care of his children, and you did the bare minimum of what you felt like you could do to make yourself seem like, oh, since they come from Africa, then it wasn't until she actually went to Africa that she realized that we were not some kids that were deprived. Our family was considered on the wealth side. I can go to a hotel, my uncles had cars, money, all that stuff, but she had that same ignorance. So she assumed that whatever cruelty she was imposing on us was nothing compared to what she thought my mom was doing. I remember maybe a handful of times I got spanked, whereas to her, we were on punishment almost all the fucking time. So when Marlo is sitting up here looking at her nephews and talking to them like, I don't have to take care of you. Yes, you do. You accepted them in your life. You chose that responsibility. They didn't beg you. They didn't come asking you. You put yourself in that position, and now you're talking to them as if they should feel like you're the Queen of Sheba. Does that mean that kids aren't supposed to be grateful? Yes, but honestly, what teenager is not selfish? The world revolves around them. Any parent who has a teenager knows that they don't know what a job takes. They don't know how you make the money. They've never worked a day in their life. They could today really want to go to prom, and that's the only thing that they will cry and cry and cry, because that's the most important thing in their life. But then as you get older, you're like, you got bills, you got kids, you're like, oh, prom, this ain't even it. I got other more important fish to fry. But with kids and teenagers at that age, there's an embedded selfishness within them. They don't know any better. So for you to treat them that way and to talk to them when you chose this is wrong. So her sister Crystal is talking to her, and she said, there's some things you can't say. Number two, Crystal has 4 children of her own. Marlo has none. Instead of her going to Crystal saying, yo, let me help and take your 4 boys and just give you a break, she put 2 more kids on her plate. And you're sitting up here acting like you're a victim. Poor Crystal is sitting there taking care of her four kids, and 2 of the ones you chose to take care of. How is that fair, Marlo? And it looks like you have more money financially than she does. You have more of a lavish lifestyle than she can provide. And Marlo's looking at the situation like, you had to leave Because then we find out that she also took Crystal as a responsibility as well. And that ended up them working at all either. Crystal ended up being kicked out. And she felt like you had to leave to appreciate me. Girl, it's not about you all the time. Put your own personal feelings aside and put your mindset in the mind of the person who now has to get over the fact that they just got exposed to their mom's craziness, screaming at you, you crying, they're dealing with things the way that they know how, and you over here boo-hooing as if you're the one you re-traumatize them. I'm 1000% on Candy's side. If you choose to accept the responsibility, you need to understand the responsibility you're undertaking. And if you don't understand it and it ends up failing, stop making yourself look like you're the victim, because those poor boys, I feel more sympathy for them than I feel for Marlo. All this extra stuff that she's doing, I just wanted to go on a girls trip. Let me spoil the ladies. You kicked out your own blood so you can go spoil some people who ain't even related to you. Girl, bye. I don't know. Marlo needs to knock that off completely, because now I'm looking at her and I'm not, I don't know her personally, but her actions is making me question it. It really is. Then she says on cameras, and her sister is trying to be in a nice way to say, do you think what I did is wrong? But her sister's like, yeah, I think you're wrong. I think what you did was wrong. Why you kick those boys out? But I'm just going to say it in a nice way because camera's rolling. I just think that there's some things they just don't need to hear. Girl, bye. Okay? Because, of course, the boys are over there complaining about her. This is what Marlo's doing. This is the third. And she's saying, yeah, I had the same complaints about you. Girl. Then we have Marlo's planned girls trip is now about to begin. The girls are basically on their way out. They're basically packing up their stuff. We got Marlo in the car with Sheree, and she's talking to Sheree about Kenya. And Sheree said, you know, I talked to Kenya, and Kenya expressed that the behavior that you're exhibiting, calling her a liar and treating her, that is what's off-putting to her. And this is why she's behaving the way she's behaving at you, because you seem to not be able to understand that you are picking at her. Then Marlo ignores the role that she plays in its entirety and says, why can't two black sisters get along? We can't, because you're a bitch. That's why. Then we have the beautiful cabin where they get to. I will give Marlo her props. The cabin was beautiful, and every room seemed like it was well on par with the financial, I guess, standing of every lady that came there. So that was good. However, in the room pics, she's got to do something shady. Marlo has candles, and she has phrases that come with those candles. And if you're able to guess who that quote or phrase is discussed or talking about, you get to choose your room first. You get the first pick or first dibs to the room, aside from the one that she already chose for herself. She picks up one of them. It says young love, smells like devotion and delusion, blackberry and rose. And she says that devotion and delusion is supposed to be Kenya. Then you invited people to your gathering and you're shading them. For real? So you can make yourself feel better, you're putting other people down at your own trip that you invited them, and it's supposed to be funny. Then the next thing she says is good vibes and fresh gossip, and that's supposed to be Candy. Then she said high hopes and low expectations, and she said Sheree. And I'm like, you know what, Sheree, you should never share your business with Marlo, because when she gets mad at you, and she will, trust, she's going to throw Tyrone in your face. And she's going to say that you got embarrassed by him. Everything that you confided in her will be hurled back in your face, because she's sitting up here making jokes about something that really, really hurt you and really embarrassed you on national television. And she thinks it's funny. Then the next one she had is color coordinated workout fear. And Drew's dumb self rose her hand as if she's the workout queen. Girl, we know you just worked out for the first time in that when you were marketing your company. That was supposed to be Sanya. Then we have repeat resolutions and wishful thinking. And she said that Drew is repeat resolutions and wishful thinking. I said, girl, where's yours? What are you, Marlo? Besides the wicked spirit and witch of the West. Then we have her telling everybody to take a whole bath, because they're going to go to dinner at Blue Ridge. And they're all doing their whole bath situation. Sheree said that she didn't got her cooch already exorcised from all the Tyrone spirit that went all up in there, which begs the question. Sheree was making it seem like her and Tyrone were already getting it in. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, that man has been in prison. If you ain't giving him none, he's probably going to go find it from somewhere else, child. 'Cause otherwise, he's been around men. Like, he's going to want a female if he's a heterosexual man. He's looking for that. And Sheree said, no, we're holding up. But then you said you didn't, you just said episodes later that you just exercised him for your vajayjay, which means that you were already doing him. You can't close the cookie jar after you already give it up. You might as well just keep giving it up and enjoy yourself. Hell, if he's gonna embarrass you, you might as well get some orgasms out of it. Anyway, we have Kenya, who said she wasn't gonna show up, end up showing up anyway. Candy already knew she was going to show up because Kenya likes to make an entrance, especially when it's Marlo's event, because she likes to make herself the topic of conversation when it's Marlo's. That's a way of her digging into her. Kenya said she wasn't going to come, but she came. We already knew she was going to come because she's going to come and make an entrance. She comes in and they're asking her about Brooklyn because she said that she doesn't know if she'll stay in the house because she's going to stay where Brooklyn is. But she's kind of being a little bit like mysterious about it, talking about as if she doesn't know where her daughter is. Girl, bye. We know you know where Brooklyn is. You probably know where her heartbeat is right now, where you're at. You already know her pulse. You can probably have your little super hearing to know exactly. Girl, bye. You know where Brooklyn is. Stop lying, okay? But she just didn't want to answer Marlo because I think in her mind she was still debating whether she wanted to go to the house. I low-key feel like Kenya is very intelligent. She came and got her own house, got her own transportation, got everything that would cover her just in case Marlo decides to now be like, get out, leave my house, leave my things, to find your way home, because Marlo does have it within her to be that cruel. So Kenya is not going to put any of her safety and of her trust, anything in Marlo's hands. She's always going to cover her back when it comes to Marlo. So if Marlo decides that she don't want her in the house, she already got her own house. If Marlo decides that she can't join the ride, she got her own ride. So she covered herself on purpose and showed up on her own terms. Kenya ain't dumb. The girl is very strategic and she is very calculating. Good for her. She comes in and of course Marlo, you look at her face and she looks uncomfortable because she looks like the person who's going to be in center of attention. It's not going to be her anymore on her own planned trip. Marlo just looks miserable. Miserable. Take her peach back. Take it back. I don't want her to have one. I think she's just better as an extra. Then we have Sanya on her way and Drew not feeling it because Sanya and her have been going back and forth. First, Sanya said Drew is not genuine. Then she inserted herself in Sheree's and Drew's beef that they had already been squashed. Then she uninvited her to something she invited her at when they were supposed to be, when the girl came to save you when you got into a car accident. Then she trash talked while she's talking to Ralph, asking him advice. I can't, it's like they're hot and cold. It's Sanya and Drew remind me of a milder version of Kenya and Marlo. That's what they look like to me. Then we have Sanya showing up and letting them know that she is partnered with iFit, her and her husband, and they have agreed to do a couples trip and pay for all their friends to come to Jamaica, and they're allowed to bring their +1, and Marlo ain't got no +1. She can just bring her closet with her. Then she's announcing this at the table. Everybody's happy. She doesn't want to steal Marlo's thunder, but this is just too good to keep away. That is the one good thing I think that Sanya is doing, aside from teaching us how to make Jamaican food with her mama. This is a good thing for them. Now, would the drama stop? No, but it's a good thing for them to be doing drama in Jamaica, still have fun. Then we have Marlo deciding to now have a conversation / bullying with Kenya at the table. But we already know that Kenya can hold her own. She starts talking to Kenya, saying that Kenya cannot join any of the events that she planned if Kenya does not sleep under the same roof as her. If I was Kenya, I wouldn't want to sleep on the same roof as Marlo. As unstable as her emotion is right now, she might stab me, pour acid on me, do some stuff crazy. She was already trying to attack the girl when the girl was drunk, having fun. You try to ruin her fun because you just don't want Kenya to be happy. You want her to be as miserable as you. I wouldn't be in the same house with you either. But she's telling Kenya that if you don't stay in the house, you can't do anything that we plan. And I just think that that's dumb. You already know that y'all are not on the best terms, but this is a job for both of you, and Kenya is part of the show. You're just new. You just got your peach. Kenya being in the scenes gives you an opportunity to even give us anything for us to watch as viewers. Yes, it's Marlo's gathering, whatever, but she already aired. You know, she's showing up for the girls, but if she's not comfortable in the house, when she was just in the house with you, a Sheree sleepover, and you were antagonizing her while she was enjoying herself, girl, I don't want to be in the same house with you either. But she's talking to Kenya. Kenya said, you know, I'm going to tell you what's wrong, what my problem is with you. You and I had made up after you said some of the most horrendous things to me. You accused me of lying about having a child, which is horrendous. Child. Kenya was smart enough not to bring up the part where Marlo even told her that her own mama didn't want her, because that would have been a wrap for me. Then she told her, she said, you accused me of lying on a consistent basis. You've run around. Every time that you apologize, you turn around and do the same thing all over again. I just don't have any more chances to give you. You say that you love us all, but if that's the kind of love you have to give, it's toxic and I don't want it. Which was very, very accurate. Toxicity is what Marlo gives. Marlo starts behaving like Drew. She doesn't listen to absorb what you're saying. She listens to respond. So while you're talking to her, it's going in one ear and comes out the other because she's already thinking about what she's going to say to you back instead of receiving what you're saying to her. What Kenya said to her was very genuine, very respectful, and very honest. Everything you're saying to me right now, what you're doing is complete bullshit. Because every time you apologize for the same thing and I forgive you, you end up turning my back and doing it again. I cannot keep getting stabbed in the back because I cannot be insane. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting it's a different result is the definition of insanity. I just can't keep doing it. And here goes Marlo, of course. Marlo didn't hear anything she had to say. Marlo says, I'm hurt too. Then she goes on this gaslighting mantra. We're all black women. We are all respected in this platform. You're well spoken. I look up to you. We should respect each other. I said, Marlo, respect each other. You have said some of the most disgusting things to Kenya that I think aside from Phaedra and her whole issue with Candy, it was just about the same. You have said some of the most horrendous things on this platform to Kenya. So for you, Kenya may do some wild things that come up and, Kenya more hair care, Kenya more haircut, but she's not walking around telling you that your mama don't want you. She's not walking around telling you that you out here lying to people about being pregnant or lying to people about being married. And now she's lying about being sick. What is wrong with you? Like, you just keep digging and digging and digging. And Crystal, her sister, said, you know what you say to people, some people just not, she's saying this not just to Kenya, she's also talking to her nephew just as crazy. And Crystal said that. Marlo goes in the confessional, says that her mom used to say some of the most meanest things to her. I said, well, girl, if you know what it feels like, why would you repeat it? You don't learn? Why would you repeat it? If somebody did this to you, you didn't like it, why are you reciprocating the same behavior to somebody else and expecting her to be nice to you? So she keeps going and talking and talking. Kenya's like, I'm not going to sit up here being interrupted. And it just seems like they weren't going to go anywhere. I thought that Marlo would fix her mouth and say, you know what, I apologize for saying that you're lying, but that's what I thought in the moment. If you weren't lying, then I apologize for that. Instead, she goes, I'm not changing my mind. I think you weren't sick. But Kenya bought stuff to come to your house for Sheree. And she actually had Drew bring it to you out of a courtesy. She could have just not even called Drew or asked for help and just said, I'm not going to go. Instead, you're sitting here still digging and digging. And Marlo, you look stupid as hell. You do. Honestly, Marlo in this season is disgusting me as a person. She's just, the things that she keeps doing, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm starting to detest her as a cast member. Phaedra did some crazy stuff, but Phaedra's reads were on point and she was funny. But Marlo doesn't have good reads. Her row here, her face is just too much. It's too much. She has too many of them for me to keep up with. Then we have them showing on the next episode what's going to happen. Kenya makes the mistake of confining to Sanya, who's not going to be the bone carrier, and go back and let Marlo know that Kenya made a comment about her not being able to take care of her nephews. Why would I even be friends with somebody like that? Fair point, well made. Then we have Drew attempting another recession where she's going to throw a dog bone to somebody because she thinks it's going to make some kind of epic moment of her. I'm like, Drew, do you rehearse these moments? Because if you rehearse it, you need to ask somebody, because some of your friends are not really your friends if they're not telling you the truth. This is dumb. Girl, read better. Learn from everybody. Hang around Sheree more so you can get some help. Oh, Drew just, poor baby is a nice girl, but I think she just needs, it's different because when she's acting, somebody's writing her lines. But when somebody's not writing her lines and it's just her mouth running, she just sounds so ditzy. And she just does stuff that I'm just like, Drew, baby, I love you, child, but no, this ain't it. Anyway, that was this review. I'm going to go rest a little bit. Let me know what you think about this episode. And you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye.